So my first question is, do you know how many periods an average person experiences in a whole lifetime?
Oh gosh, I have to do maths.
Yeah, I know, but what's the maths?
No
Like,
idea.
what, once a month for your whole life? So...
Okay, go.
I just buzzed too quickly, really. 500.
Minus
12
pregnancies and
minus pregnancies.
and
And
childhood.
let's
and
say
and
menopause
menopause.
around 50.
350.
Whatever, 35.
Okay, well actually let me figure that out. 35 times 12 is 420, which is actually really good because the answer is 450. Can you guess what the lifetime monetary cost of a period is for the average person living in the UK?
Gosh.
How much do you reckon each period costs?
How many candles do you get in a box?
What do you think?
£12,000.
So shall we say like an average
I
Yeah.
would say each period costs like £5. So.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think more. Like closer to maybe like 20.
So what do we say?
And it's
450
times five.
450 times 5, whatever,
Okay.
450 times 5.
You guys are on a roll with this. I hope you don't
I know, you guys got the maths question. I thought it was like going to be like the...
Yeah. It is.
yeah.
That actually is not right. It's the right answer. So that is £2,250.
Uh-huh.
The average is £4,800.
What?
And that doesn't even include painkillers, buying new underwear. That is just the period products.
Wow.
I'm just thinking about how much somebody has to pay for all of that, and where does that money come from, and why would you have to pay for those things but not have to pay for other things that are like a natural part of life?
Do you remember how old you were when periods were first explained to you?
I know around. No, sorry. Do I have to buzz?
Well, for me, it was started in like junior school when me and my friends did start menstruating. Then it was like kind of you sat down, had the conversation with your parents, detailed everything. I remember sitting in my parents' room and my mom like drawing a uterus and kind of explaining what was going on to me.
I know I got my first period when I was really young. So I do remember that I knew something about it, but I do remember that my mom was like, oh, okay, we need to have a bigger talk now.
Yeah.
We never had it explained to the boys. It wasn't considered like an issue for boys.
I don't remember, honestly. I guess because it just wasn't a thing I needed to know about, or I didn't think I needed to know about.
But we didn't talk about. I mean, this was the 1980s, so we just didn't talk about things then at all. I mean, I remember learning about sexual health because my parents would leave leaflets around the house, but it wasn't talked about. It was like hoped that you would find out.
I am ashamed to say that I didn't take it seriously at all. Like, and I probably made fun of my sister, like all the PMS jokes and all of that kind of stuff, as you do as part of banter. But then, in kind of all the work that we've been talking about, like at NKD, and reflecting on that, that's not cool.
Are there any code names you used growing up to describe a period instead of saying the word period?
We used to say things like the red robot.
Wow.
Which I'm like, also like it has like the connotations of like everything almost has to kind of stop, which isn't true. Like you should be able to like carry on with your life as normal. Some people are really debilitated by their periods. Some people don't have. I know in lots of schools in South Africa, lots of children are missing school because they don't have products to wear when they go to school, so they just completely stay at home and miss it. We used to say things like, my granny's come to visit in her red car or something so strange.
It's terrible. We had terrible words. The curse.
The curse.
On the blob. I mean, I can't even bring myself to say that out loud.
I have some. Obviously, they're in Dutch, so I would have to translate them, but don't ask me why, but one of them is grandma's visiting. I can't explain why.
Yeah.
And the other one, it's like the Red Sea flooding, something like that translated.
Do you think there are any challenges that perhaps people that menstruate experience in the workplace?
I think it's almost a shame to, you almost feel ashamed to be like, I can't actually do my work because I'm on my period. It almost doesn't seem like a valid excuse. Whereas when you say, I've got a stomach bug or I've got a really bad migraine, that kind of almost seems like a better excuse to have than say, oh, I'm on my period, this happens every month. And for some people, I think that must be quite hard.
What would your advice be to managers like me and how to support people?
I suppose maybe you starting the conversation and saying this is a valid excuse if you need to come to me, and say, like, if you are having really bad period pains, if you're not feeling well, feel free to speak about that openly to me. And it's almost like, just thinking about it now, almost things like even logging your absence on things like Breathe HR. If you go and look at all the sickness points you can put in, there's things like migraines and headaches, and even doing things like that, maybe even putting a period pain or I don't know, something like that, just to show that that's actually something that we do believe is reason enough to take time off of work. That's really interesting, isn't it? That even in like systems and processes, it's not mentioned, brushed under the carpet.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel engaging in a conversation about period equity or period education with a friend or a colleague or family member?
Yeah, I feel very happy to talk about this.
Yeah, I'd probably say like a 9.
I mean, I'd say I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Probably like a 7-ish, 6, 7.
I'd probably say less. I'd probably say 5. And the reason that is that I don't think I would ever bring it up, but I would be happy to listen. I don't know that it's my position, but maybe it is. Maybe that's what I'll learn in this thing. Maybe I'm still got a little bit of that, 14-year-old George going, this is not my
Maybe
lane.
if you break that, other people will follow.
Maybe that's what I need to do. Step up.
I reckon I'm about a 6. I feel confident for the same reasons that Steph does. It's really open, the culture where we work, and we have lots of great events and conversations about all sorts of subjects that could be sensitive in some way or another. So I feel confident from that point of view because we've been educating ourselves about lots of things and bringing them to the table. If I think about other places I've worked, I don't think I'd feel so confident. And I also want to know that it's okay for me as a man to be able to have those kind of conversations. So yeah, probably about a 6 at the moment.
Well, let's see after the workshop.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Hey.
You're welcome.
First off, how was the workshop?
I thought it was great. Everyone seemed really excited, open to share. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I felt like everyone felt like it was a safe space. I don't think anyone was too shy.
I thought the workshop was great.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was a really safe space to be able to explore those things. There was no judgment from the facilitator. I think everyone entered into it with a spirit of, I'm going to learn something today, I'm going to be challenged, I might feel a bit awkward and uncomfortable, but just to lean into it and just to know that no one was going to pull each other up on it.
Is there anything new you've learned that you were shocked about, or any just new facts that you're happy to share?
I think the cost over a lifetime.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not to focus on the financials, but I was like, oh.
I'd never thought about trans men. I'd never thought about
Yeah, right.
people who don't identify as women who menstruate. It never even crossed my mind to think about their experience and then look at a workplace and look around and think, how is this set up to be supportive for different types of people?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident would you rate yourselves now?
I'd be more confident now for sure. I'm definitely an 8, and it was really great being in the workshop because it just created that conversation where everybody got that little bit happier talking about it. For me now, as I feel like I've got permission to talk about it, and that's something I wasn't sure of before. Am I allowed to lead on this conversation?
I've definitely gone from a 5 to a 7 now, so I think knowing more and having had the opportunity to have those open discussions, because I had the same reservations, is it okay for me to lead on this? Because it's not my space. So now I definitely feel like I've got the confidence to back that up, and I think it's going to make me, so the knowledge that I've got now will make me more empathetic because I know more exactly, so I can empathise more.
I think both of ours was quite high this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was already a 9. But I think after doing the workshop, I already feel a bit more confident talking about it on a wider scale. I think I was very confident talking about it as in like just for myself personally, but now I feel like as a topic or as an issue area, I feel more confident in it. And also I think a little bit less embarrassed. I'm bringing the shame level down a little bit.
I would say that for me it's still a 9 as well. Definitely feel like there's a lot more that we can read about this and educate myself, but yeah, I think that this was a great start.
Yeah, and now that the conversation started, I think that's kind of almost the breaking point as well. Like having everyone in our company join that conversation and have that flowing kind of breaks down the barrier of awkwardness almost. And now we've already started having the conversation, so we might as well carry on.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I did take away from it was how nice it was to have some men in the room as well. I think that really helped make it feel like not just about a kind of girls getting together and having a moan about their periods. Yeah.
I'm excited for the next steps, right? So this is a really great primer. We've started the conversation. We're all on the same page. We know want to support those people in our workplace who menstruate. So now I'm interested to do the work, as it were. Like what are we going to do as an NKD? What are we going to do as a collective socially? What can we do individually to support each other? So I'm keen to like put down the roots now.
I was wondering if you guys had any advice for anyone that was maybe embarrassed or ashamed about menstruating or wanted to get to know more about period education or period equity.
I guess I would say that it's all right to have those feelings, and you're not the only one. Like we have all been through that, and some of us may still feel that way. But I think that if you try to take a bit of that shame away and try to talk about it with friends or anyone that you trust, that it might make it a bit easier for yourself.
And just realize that it's normal.
Yeah.
And just remind yourself that it's normal. I think that's kind of the biggest thing.
But at the same time, I think being embarrassed about it is probably normal as well, right? It's like having those, because of the way our society is all set up, it's okay to like be self-conscious about it and embarrassed. But maybe find someone that you trust that you can talk to.
Learn about it. Learn about it. Be brave. Ask a question.
Yeah.
And if you've got kids that are boys, talk about it with
about
boys when they're younger.
Definitely, the myths out there are myths, right? So go and do the work to bust those myths for yourself, so that you're not perpetuating, what was taught to you, or the context that you've grown up in. Because when you actively be better, then everything is better.
Yeah. And be prepared to get it wrong. Don't be put off.
Exactly.
If
you
get it wrong first time.
Yeah.
Well, too bad. Just try again.
Exactly. Because no one's gonna berate you for trying, right?
Would you recommend your really good employer workshop to anyone else?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. Really valuable.
I would 100% recommend that every employer, every team has a chance to have one of these workshops.
Yeah, with Bloody Good Period. They were amazing.
Bloody good workshop.